There is a well-known midrash on the second line here of this Psalm 114, part of the Hallel prayers that are said during the Jewish liturgy on Passover. Yehuda was the sanctified one among the nation. Jacob blesses Yehuda at the end of Exodus. He will be the future leader from David. From Yehuda, David himself descends. The midrash that many kids know is about Nachshon ben Aminadav, who is of the tribe of Yehuda. And in this midrash, the sages, the rabbis, are thinking about what is the nature of leadership? So what's the dramatic situation? Dramatic situation is the Jews have left, the Hebrews have left Egypt. They now have huge regrets, complaining about Moses, complaining about having left, complaining about being left in the middle. Apparently it was better in some sense to be a slave. It's easier in some ways to be a slave. And they see this image of Paro, the Tsar of Mitzrayim, as just means the might of Egypt, the tremendous might of Egypt coming towards them. They are at the Red Sea at the very edge. They really know they only have one plan, and that one plan is to have faith in Moses, really, as a leader, and to have faith in God. But it's not Moses, actually, who is the leader in this story. Nachshon, he feels the pressure of the Egyptian soldiers coming against him, and he walks into the water. And don't think of this as, don't flash back to the 72nd Street boat basin and think of a crazy person going into the water. Really, you have to, again, move past the literal. Nachshon goes into the water, it goes up to his nose, and the sea finally splits. What does this say, right? We use the story to understand that Nachshon is at the point where he cannot even breathe. And yet he continues and he goes on because he has faith in his mission, his leadership, and he also has faith in God. It's important to think, right? We too often, especially atheists, right? Where's God? And this midrash is coming to say, God is not going to deliver himself on a platter. For me, sitting in Israel and Jerusalem, and the more I've been here, the more I do think that God has served this reality with all of its complexities and difficulties up to us on a platter. The idea of being able to live not only in this place, but to live out the history of the people of Israel. The history of the people of Israel is not happening in the United States, happening here no matter what, right? This is where it's happening. So that on the one hand, God is beneficent. On the other hand, faith is in activity. And that faith, in a way, faith and courage, they kind of meld one into the other. And you see that in a leader who lives out her faith and courage in a way that is visible. And not only is it non-coercive, the basis of that leadership is the means through which one inspires others without setting out to do that. Of course, the leader is always, like David, thinking about those around him, speaking to others. And the highest praise that is given to sages of the Talmud are those which we look at and we see their actions become authoritative halacha. Maaserav, right? You see X, there's a machloket about what to do this, X, or what to do Y. We see X, and we see a great rabbi in the street doing X, and we paskin like him because we have such faith in him as a person. That's the leader. And this Maaserav, the guy is not going out advertising and saying, the halach is like me, the halach is like me. He's living his life with faith and courage. We're all Nachshon. We all can sometimes hardly breathe. Real leaders know how to go forward with courage and faith. That's really the seventh day of Pesach is one of the lost holidays. The first day of Pesach is our expression of vulnerability, our cry out for help. It's also recognition and praise and thanks. And the seventh day is really the midrash of Nachshon. Comes into play on the seventh day. It's the day that the Jews choose God, but also choose themselves. They act with autonomy. Have a great one, people.